From Scars to Stars, How to Transform Your Pain into Purpose. What if I told you that the deepest wound you carry, the one that aches on cold nights and whispers to you in moments of silence, is not your life's greatest liability, but its most profound asset? What if the very thing you believe has broken you is, in fact, the raw material for building a life so rich, so meaningful, that you wouldn't trade that scar for anything? It sounds like a paradox, a cruel joke whispered by the universe, but it's the most powerful truth I have ever learned. Your pain is not a pit stop. It is a launch pad. And today, we're going to explore step by step how you can begin that powerful, life-altering alchemy of turning your deepest pain into your greatest purpose. There's an old aphorism that has echoed through time, a piece of wisdom that cuts right to the heart of the human experience. The true wise man is the one who transforms his greatest weakness into his strength. Let's pause on that for a moment. This isn't about pretending the weakness doesn't exist. It's not about spiritual bypassing or covering a gaping wound with a flimsy bandage of positive thinking. This is about something far more courageous. It's about looking that weakness, that pain, that source of shame directly in the eye and choosing to integrate it. It's about harnessing the empathy, resilience, and unique perspective that only that specific struggle could have taught you. Think of it this way. Someone who has never felt the sting of loneliness cannot truly understand the profound value of connection. Someone who has never been betrayed cannot fully grasp the sacredness of trust. Your weakness, your pain, has given you a PhD in a specific slice of the human condition. It has made you an expert. The wisdom lies in ceasing to be a victim of that expertise and choosing to become a teacher, a guide, a beacon for others who are still lost in that same darkness. Your weakness becomes your strength the moment you decide to use the map of your own escape route to help others find their way out. But this begs the crucial question: how do you know? What is the measure? How can you be sure you are using your pain as an integrative foundation for your purpose and not just reopening old wounds or glorifying your suffering? The answer lies in a fundamental shift in your inner world. It's the moment you stop asking, "Why did this happen to me?" and start asking, "What can I build from this?" You'll know you're on the right path when you can look back at the full tapestry of your past. The breathtaking joys, yes, but also the gut-wrenching sorrows, the crushing failures, the bitter disappointments, and feel a sense of peace. Not a joyous celebration of the pain, but a deep, quiet understanding that every single thread, even the ugliest, darkest ones, was necessary to weave the person you are today. It's a moment of radical acceptance. The past is no longer a ghost that haunts you, but an anchor that grounds you in the person you have become. Let me give you an example. Imagine a man named David. For most of his young adult life, David was crippled by a severe stutter. It was his deepest shame, his greatest weakness. He avoided speaking, turned down opportunities, and lived in a small self-imposed prison of silence. The pain of being misunderstood, of being laughed at, was a constant heavy cloak. For years, he fought it, hated it, and wished it away. But after hitting rock bottom, he began a journey of acceptance. He realized that his struggle had forced him to become an extraordinary listener. He learned to read body language, to hear the nuance in people's tone, to understand what they weren't saying. His weakness had given him a superpower of empathy. David started a support group for people with speech impediments. He didn't just teach them techniques. He shared his story, his pain, his journey. He created a space where people felt seen and heard, perhaps for the first time. Today, he's a renowned public speaking coach, specializing in helping those with anxiety and speech issues. His purpose is not in spite of his stutter. It is because of it. The stutter is still there, a part of him, but it is no longer his jailer. It is the key that unlocked his life's work. He has made peace with his past because he understands that without the pain of that specific struggle, he would never have developed the unique strength to fulfill his profound purpose. That is the measure. This idea that we can find meaning in our suffering isn't just a modern self-help trope. It's a profound philosophical and psychological truth, most famously articulated by Viktor Frankl. Frankl, an Austrian psychiatrist, endured the unimaginable horrors of Nazi concentration camps during World War II. He lost his wife, his parents, and his brother. He was stripped of everything, subjected to starvation, disease, and brutal cruelty. And yet, in the midst of this abyss of human suffering, he made a discovery that would change psychology forever. He observed that the prisoners who had the best chance of survival were not necessarily the physically strongest, but those who held on to a sense of purpose. They were the ones who had a why to live for, a child to return to, a book to write, a loved one to see again. From these experiences, he developed his theory of logotherapy, which posits that the primary driving force in human beings is not the pursuit of pleasure, as Freud believed, but the pursuit of meaning. Frankl's most earth-shattering insight was this: everything can be taken from a man but one thing, the last of the human freedoms, to choose one's attitude in any given set of circumstances, to choose one's own way. Even when you cannot change your fate, you can change how you respond to it. You can choose to find meaning in your suffering, to bear it with dignity, and in doing so, to rise above it. Your pain becomes your purpose when you choose to make it meaningful. This powerful idea of radical freedom and self-creation is echoed in the work of the existentialist philosopher Jean-Paul Sartre. Sartre's famous declaration was that existence precedes essence. This means that we are not born with a preordained purpose or a fixed nature. We are simply born. We exist. It is then up to us, through our choices and our actions, to define who we are, to create our own essence. Life, society, and our circumstances may try to impose an identity upon us, to crush us under the weight of expectations or misfortunes. But existentialism is a defiant roar back at the universe. It is the ultimate statement of self-affirmation. I am responsible for my life. I am condemned to be free, and therefore I will use that freedom to create my own meaning, even from the wreckage of my past. When you use your pain to forge a purpose, you are engaging in the ultimate act of existential creation. You are telling the world, you may have given me this pain, but I will decide what it means. If these ideas are resonating with you, if you're feeling that spark of recognition, I'd like to gently ask for your support. Please take a moment to hit the like button and subscribe to the channel if you haven't already. Your support is what allows the channel to grow and helps me continue creating content like this. Feel free to share this with someone who might need to hear it and leave a comment below. Your engagement truly makes a difference. Now, let's get back to the practical steps. So, we have the philosophy, the inspiration. But how do we actually do it? How do we begin this process in a tangible, therapeutic way? Here are 3 powerful strategies to help you process your pain and transform it into a life of meaning. Strategy 1. Rewrite your story through narrative therapy. We are all storytellers. We have a story we tell ourselves about our life and about our pain. For many of us, it's a story of victimhood. This terrible thing happened and it ruined my life. Narrative therapy helps us understand that we are not the problem. The problem is the problem. This technique involves externalizing your pain, giving it a name, separating it from your identity. Instead of, I am a depressed person, you might say, I have been struggling with a visitor called the gray cloud. This separation creates space for you to rewrite your relationship with the problem. You can't change the events of the past, but you can absolutely change the narrative. You can shift your role in the story from the victim to the hero, the survivor, the alchemist. You can focus on the moments of resilience, the instances where you fought back, the strength you discovered because of the struggle. It's about consciously choosing to tell the story of your strength, not the story of your wound. Strategy 2. Change your lens with cognitive reframing. This powerful tool, born from cognitive behavioral therapy, CBT, is based on a simple premise. It is not the event itself that causes our suffering, but our interpretation of the event. Our minds create automatic, often negative, thoughts around our pain. Thoughts like, I'll never get over this, or my life is over because what happened? Cognitive reframing is the conscious act of identifying, challenging, and replacing these disempowering thoughts with more balanced, compassionate, and empowering ones. It's not about lying to yourself. It's about finding the deeper truth. For example, the thought, this failure proves I'm worthless, can be reframed to, this was a painful failure, and it taught me crucial lessons that will help me succeed next time. My worth is not defined by my performance. It's about changing the lens through which you view your pain, from one of catastrophic loss to one of difficult but valuable learning. Strategy 3. Drop the rope with acceptance and commitment therapy, ACT. Imagine you are in a tug-of-war with a giant monster. The monster is your pain. You pull and pull, exhausting all your energy, but the monster is stronger. You are stuck. What if the solution wasn't to pull harder, but to simply drop the rope? This is the core of acceptance and commitment therapy. Sometimes our struggle with the pain is what causes the most suffering. ACTS teaches us to stop fighting with our difficult thoughts and feelings. It involves acceptance, acknowledging our pain, and making room for it, rather than trying to push it away. It's about accepting what is outside of our control. The second part is commitment, identifying your core values, what truly matters to you at your deepest level, and committing to taking actions that align with those values, even when the pain is present. The goal isn't to eliminate the pain before you can live your life. The goal is to live a rich, full, and meaningful life alongside the pain. The pain might be a passenger in your car, but you are the one in the driver's seat, and you are driving towards what matters. Living a life of purpose is not an easy, blissful path. It is richer, more vibrant, and it fills you with a courage and vivacity you never thought possible. But this path demands a price. It demands that we walk directly into the heart of our fears. To truly pursue your purpose, you must be willing to face the fear of failure, the terror of standing out and being judged, the primal fear of being left alone, the deep ache of not being loved or approved of. Here is a critical truth. Your purpose is only truly yours when you develop it and pursue it independently of the opinions or criticisms of others. It must be an internal compass, not an external applause meter. The moment your purpose depends on validation from others, it becomes a performance, not a calling. And this is the final beautiful gift of finding your purpose. It eliminates the soul-corroding acid of doubt. It gives you an unshakable why. When you know why you're doing something, you can endure almost any how. The fear of loneliness may still cast a shadow, but your purpose becomes a constant companion. The fear of failure may still whisper in your ear, but your purpose shouts louder. The pain of your past is no longer a tangled mess you must hide. It becomes the very thread you pull to unravel the magnificent, complex, and unique story of your life. So I ask you again, what is the wound you carry? And are you ready to see it not as a scar, but as the birthplace of a star?